From Careco TV, one of the longest running outdoor programs on television today. Exploring the country and the coast in search of adventure. From the mountains of the Great Northwest to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean, this is Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. Welcome to Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. Well, this week we take you on a variety of exotics game hunting in Texas. Exotic refers to non-native mammals that landowners have introduced to Texas ranches. The first release of exotics into Texas occurred around 1930, when a group of nilgai antelope were released on the King Ranch in South Texas. Today, the Texas Hill Country region has become the exotic game capital of the country. And since these exotic game species are non-indigenous to Texas, they may be hunted any time throughout the year, leaving ample time for other hunting opportunities.
I have to think, in my opinion, after talking to people across the nation, that exotic game animals are probably one of the most misunderstood animals that you're going to find out there. They are an incredible challenge in the right circumstances to be able to hunt, and in the right circumstances is hunting them in something that's similar to their native land, where they've got an understanding in the terrain and they've got a fair chance. The exotics that you see us hunt on ours are hunted, they're hunted in large properties, they're hunted in free ranging. I'll take Axis, for example. They're more challenging to us than whitetail in a lot of situations, and it could be a couple of reasons there. It could be there's not as many of them, but I believe that their sense of smell, their sense of hearing, and their eyesight, and their dominance in certain areas really makes them a tough challenge for us to be able to hunt.
Bam! I just absolutely crushed a giant Axis. I mean, hit him I think I hit him good. It just happened so fast. What happened is we're sitting there, and I mean, the light's just barely good enough. He comes out, and he comes right in front of us, like 10, 12, 15 yards. And then I got settled down. He turns away. Gosh, finally got one of those big bad boys. Man, what an awesome animal. I mean, gigantic. South Texas brush country. We're in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden, boom, there's a big old giant Axis. I'm gonna just see if there's any blood, and then we're just gonna wait. We're gonna give it, a couple hours, depending on how much blood there is. We're just gonna make sure we don't push him, my man. We want him to lay down and die. Hopefully it was a great shot. Let's see. Hey, there's the arrow right there. Perfect pass through. Oh my gosh, look at the amount of blood on that arrow right there. That is unbelievable. I mean, now that's a lot of blood right there. That's what you want to see on an arrow. There's no doubt about it. Giant Axis. Boom! Oh my goodness, we got pictures of this guy right here for sure. I've never had a whole lot of opportunity to hunt exotics, but to me, what a trophy. They're a lot like whitetails. They rut a lot like them. They're huge animals. I mean, this thing is gigantic, majestic looking. I mean, look at that Axis, and the coat on them is, incredible. And this deer, we really killed this deer because of the work we put in early on. And we got the stand set up and everything was right. And then we moved out of those areas for a couple of weeks and we came back and hunted, and everything was just natural to those deer. And bam, look at that guy. That's awesome.
Well, coming up, more exotics game hunting in Texas continues on Americana Outdoors.
It's in our stomping grounds and our playground. It's in our sights and our commitment. It's in him, it was in them, and it will continue with her. It's in my nature. Is it in yours?
Introducing the newest member of the Yamaha off-road family. It thrives in the most remote, rugged terrain. It never steps down from a challenge and travels long distances in search of adventure. The all-new Yamaha Wolverine. It's a whole new animal.
The art of the hunt is not painted with a broad brush. Its eye is in the details. The note on the refrigerator. A set of broadheads, tried and true. The well-worn boots, soaked in doe estrus. And a Garmin Rhino, the only GPS with two-way radio. Prepare your measuring tapes, Pope and Young. It's whitetail season in Rhino country.
Nikon's no-fault policy was created for those who continually push the envelope, travel the farthest, stay the longest, brave the most hostile elements. We do our best to deliver on our promise of a lifetime of performance. And we'll stand with you should accidents happen. Trust earned. Nikon.
The thing about public land is that most people hunt the same old beaten path. The thing about you is, you're not most folks. Introducing the new TC Compass, only by Thompson Center. Follow your own compass with America's master gunmaker.
Since 1984, Sawyer Products has offered the most technologically advanced solutions for protection against sun and bugs. Sawyer Picaridin insect repellent is effective against mosquitoes and flies. It's safe on you and your gear. And to maximize your protection, use a combination of Picaridin with odorless permethrin for your clothing and gear. Sawyer's Stay Put sunscreen will keep you comfortable and getting better protection for even longer. You're already outdoors. Sawyer keeps you there. Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, is brought to you by Garmin Verb. Life, camera, action. Cabela's, it's in your nature. Grove Tech, go hunt. We'll carry the gun. And by Conquest Scents, hunting and dog training scents.
Another great exotic that has gained a tremendous amount of popularity recently is the aoudad. They have become incredibly popular to hunt for obvious reasons. They're a very challenging animal out there. There are places you can hunt them under high fence and places you can hunt them in low fence. They really run in giant herds, and what I believe happens a lot of times is you see a lot of the females, the ewes and small males really running together in large groups, but you tend to find the more mature, larger rams satellite by themselves or in smaller groups until the breeding time when they all kind of come together. When you look at an aoudad, they are a very interesting and incredible and beautiful animal to hunt.
Well, the aoudad hunt was awesome. We, myself and Kevin, got set up in a great area. We were in a blind and it was elevated so we could see a good distance. And we were in an area where they'd been using some trail cameras and knew that the animals had been coming and going through different periods. And so they just felt good that there was traffic in the area. And it's always good, you know, when you're in Texas, the area is so big and the animals and you can definitely be in a similar space, but it doesn't mean you're in the same space. And it was an opportunity to be set up in a beautiful area with some water, you know, and Texas has had some good rain this year, and there's lots of good cover, so it's not like they have to come to the water like in some years. And so, but it's always better to be around an area like that than not. And the birds were moving around in that area, so we got to watch a few turkey. I got to see some beautiful cardinals, just so bright red. I've never saw them so red in my life. And then off to the side, to the left, I was kind of watching and looking at a distance, and I was hunkered down a little bit trying to see, and I saw some movement. And then sure enough, I could see an aoudad move in. I would say it was probably 200 yards, maybe 150, 200 yards off, but there was so much cover and trees, it was just hard to really see how many there were and how large they were. After a few minutes, off came, a first aoudad, and he looks huge to me, like a monster. The adrenaline gets going, all right, this is coming together. And then the second one showed up, and he had the most beautiful chaps, and he just looked like he was glowing as he was walking, and I was just like, wow. He was on the outside, and the other animal was on the inside, which was closer to me. And they lined up right next to each other, kind of checking it out, a little spooky, coming up out of a little bit of a draw. Wow, that was exciting, man. They came walking right in, just like you said. He's got a big brush thing area. He's really a big looking aoudad. There were two of them there. I had to go to look at the two and then go from there. Pretty exciting. I gotta tell you, it's pretty cool. Go check him out. Wow, he looks like he's pretty good size. Well, it's got a good long distance on him around the sides here. I mean, it comes around back really nicely. It's pretty tight here up in the front. Yeah, he's coming around. It's a good size aoudad. He's got good chaps on him. Yep. I have to get a better look at him and see if he's get a good idea about how old he is. But I think he's a pretty mature ram. Pretty exciting. Can you swing him around?
Yeah.
You got it?
I got him.
Next, we go on a crossbow hunt with Yamaha's Steve Nessel. Plus, we meet up with Paul Pluff for an aoudad hunt with his Smith & Wesson Performance Center's 500 Magnum. Stay tuned. High-Vis Shooting Systems knows that your shooting performance matters in all conditions. All high-vis shooters experience faster target acquisition with our durable LightWave sights. Featuring easily interchangeable light pipes, LightWave sights give your eyes the exact sight picture you crave. Shoot high-vis. See what you've been missing.
What I love about the Bradley Smoker is that it cooks everything perfectly and it holds all the juices in.
So today we are going to be smoking some barbecue ribs, some venison sausage, and some dove, which is awesome.
You will never grill me doves again. I have to have them in the Bradley Smoker. I would prefer to use the Bradley Smoker every time I cooked. Well, that's really true because I love this thing. Okay. No lie. For more recipes, log on to bradleysmoker.com.
My secret weapon? Evercalm.
It's the first ever calming scent.
It's real smells from bedding areas.
To deer, that means safety.
Evercalm reassures even nervous deer,
which can help you get the shot.
I use Evercalm all season long.
Put it on your boots, your pants, and your decoy.
It's stick form, won't wash away or freeze.
Evercalm.
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 Evercalm. Evercalm.
Evercalm.
From the Family Deer Farm at Conquest Scents.
the outdoors. It's been my playground for decades. I enjoy everything about it. Like me, I bet you also look at the outdoors as your own personal playground. And like me, I bet you're always looking for the newest challenge. So come join me in my Smith & Wesson Performance Center handgun and let's share a new experience in the outdoors. Performance when it matters most from the Smith & Wesson Performance Center.
Walkers continues to push the boundaries with innovations and technology in the shooting, sport, and hunting category. Introducing the all-new Razor Series. Maximum protection, industry-leading noise reduction ratings. With advanced circuitry, SAC, sound-activated compression circuit, true form, super slim profile. Reliable, dependable, comfortable hearing protection. Fulfilling and exceeding the needs of every shooter.
Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, is brought to you by Bradley Smoker, food smoking made easy. Yamaha ATV, real world tough. And by Smith & Wesson, made in the USA since 1852.
Coming down to Texas, I was tagged out, and I had a hunt left. I had an evening hunt left, and luckily, coming down to Texas, we still had opportunity. So it was decided pretty early on that I was going to head over to a stand called the Amphitheater, and I don't have a whitetail buck tag, but pretty much everything else is on the menu. Raccoons are always enemy number one. We've got Aoudad, we've got a Sika spike in there that is busting the blind and needs to go. There's Axis. There are a ton of free-range and exotics animals coming through here. So Jeff and I are sitting there, and first off, all we've seen is whitetail. And it's almost, it's almost ironic. I don't have a whitetail buck. Then a young 10 comes in, and we've got spikes and button bucks and little forkhorns running around. I mean, the doe to buck ratio was like 1-2 does to like 9-10 bucks. It was ridiculous. And again, the one tag I don't have is a whitetail buck tag. So we're still enjoying it. There's animals everywhere, so it's not a bad sit. And then eventually, while we're checking out this 3.5-year-old 10, it looks like he could blow up into a monster. Both Jeff and I in the same moment were like, there's a big Aoudad. What ended up being a procession of Aoudad coming in right behind this 10 point. So Jeff's on the 10 point, he's good, he's rolling. I gotta move over. As I'm doing it, the 10 point busts me. He looks right at the blind. He also, I think, knows there's an Aoudad behind him, and he takes off. Aoudad rams. They're spooky as all get out. They'll wind you, they're great eyesight, and the moment they think the littlest thing is wrong, they're gone. There is absolutely no way he's gonna come in and get into a shooting lane, and what do you know? It's exactly what he did inside of 30 seconds.
We just nailed a monster Aoudad. That's he had that little twin that came around and then started coming back out. That was so awesome. 10 point. Oof. It's money, 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 money. Oh! Goodness. Look at this guy. Oh my gosh. The bodies on these things are immense. Oh my. And they don't often give you a 30-yard broadside shot like that. We had good wind, and we had a lot of deer around us too, which I think helped. Might have been distracted, but he gave me a shot. I took it. And this boy is down. Oh my goodness, he's heavy. Whew. He's a big one.
Aoudad hunting, they cover a lot of ground. They move a lot. They are an animal, in my opinion, that make up that top exotic animals out there to want to go hunt. And talk about being able to absorb punishment. I have seen Aoudad take rounds and another round and never break stride. It's like they've got another gear They've got a definite will to live. They've got an incredible sense of smell, a great eyesight, and a good hearing. And if you make a mistake, you're going to see their tail running away from you.
Handgun hunting is gaining popularity in recent years, and today, Paul Pluff comes ready with his Smith & Wesson Performance Center's 500 Magnum. The Performance Center guns originate from standard designs or are created from the ground up. From hand cutting and fitting to fine-tuning for precision, these firearms are top performers. Products from the Performance Center are the ultimate expression of old-world craftsmanship, blended with modern technology.
We go up into a tripod, and the tripod overlooks a field, but the tripod's up there up in the air a bit. And I could tell you, you could see for miles up there. I mean, it just, listen, if nothing else, we didn't see anything. The sightseeing, the view was gorgeous. But we were there for a purpose, and that was to pick up some odd dad. And so we were up in this blind. You know, first thing we see was this unbelievable chocolate horned 8-point. If I was there to shoot whitetails, it would have been all over but the dreaming, because I got to tell you, I was excited. I had to put myself in check, because I said, well, we're here to hunt odd dads. And then we seen way off to the left, right inside the edge of the woods, we seen movement over there. So we glassed it, and there was a bunch of odd dad in there. And no surprise, one of the things about odd dad is not only are a very tough animal, but they're very squirrely. I mean, they're very shy. You could see they're on there, they wanted to kind of come out in the field to eat, but they were just so hesitant, and we just had to wait and wait, and it seemed like forever. Those are pretty decent ones over there. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, from the opposite end, just come straight out from us, came this monstrous odd dad. I mean, caught me by surprise, I gotta be honest with you. I mean, I was so focused on those other ones, turn around and look, and there he is, right out there, maybe 50, 60 yards in front of us, straight away. I gotta be honest with you, I wasn't really prepared for that. But understanding how skittish they can be, I knew I only had seconds or moments to get ready.
You got him there.
Whew, that was exciting. That happened pretty quick, so I had to get on him and take the shot. Whew. And we got down, and it was a good blood trail. I mean, just follow through, and we followed that blood trail for about 30 yards, and it went right into some thick woods there. And at first we were gonna sit, and I said, well, it's gonna get dark here pretty soon, so we kind of made our way into the woods and went about another 15 yards, and he was piled up. There he is. Oh yeah! And went to pull him out, and knew that he was a good sized one, but you really knew when you went to pull him out. He was big, he was heavy, he was awesome.
Coming up next, a surprise encounter with black buck antelope. Stay tuned.
When you're out hunting, make sure you're carrying GroveTech. GroveTech is designed specifically for the rigorous demands of the hunt and sets the standard for strength and ruggedness when out in the field. GroveTech products have simply built the best tools for the job and are proudly made in the USA. Go hunt. We'll carry the gun. GroveTech.
Oh, nice shot.
You put the cool in life. We put the cool in coolers. Arctic Ice.
Engel's got the original high-performance cooler and a whole lot more. Engel Coolers. Go with the original.
When perfection is your goal, awards come with the territory. In 2016, 10-point and Wicked Ridge crossbows collected an unprecedented 5 Best-in-Class Industry Awards. The Reverse Draw Carbon Nitro RDX, Best Crossbow by Field & Stream and Peterson's Hunting. The Forward Draw Turbo GT, Best Crossbow by Outdoor Life and Game & Fish. And the budget-minded Warrior G3, Great Buy by Field & Stream. Regardless of the features you want or the budget you have, 10-point has an award-winning crossbow for you.
Stealth Cam. Trail cameras with features you demand. With the durability and performance you can count on. Built to withstand even the harshest conditions. Stealth Cam. Join the trail cam revolution.
We're going to try out this new folding fillet knife from Bubba Blade on these big grouper. We're going to try to gut them and see how this thing works. Oh man, like butter. I mean, that doesn't get any easier. Golly, unbelievable. Right through like butter. I love the new gut knife from Bubba Blade. It's compact. The best of all, it's like a pocket knife, man. You just close that thing up, put it away. Love it. Great little knife.
I've been hanging tree stands all my life. All you do is put the tree stand up against the tree, inch your way up, hope you don't fall!
Don't be like this guy. Get a Skyline safety system. Have your stand secured before you step off the ground. Like this guy.
The all-new Skyline safety system is redefining tree stand safety by allowing you to secure your ladder stand to the tree prior to stepping off the ground. For more information and to order yours today, visit SkylineSafetySystem.com.
Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin, has been brought to you by Stealth Cam Digital Scouting Cameras. The game has changed. Nikon Sport Optics. Trust. Earned. Nikon. And by Thompson Center, America's master gunmaker. Americana Outdoors staff Kevin Gieske has been watching one of the mature black bucks on the ranch for a long time, but he could never get a shot. Well, today, while everybody's out turkey hunting, Kevin just sits in the field hoping that the black buck will come that way. And all of a sudden, he spots the black buck does. And if they're here, he's here. Black buck antelopes are one of the smallest antelope species of the exotic breeds. As males age, their coloration graduates from a light tan at birth to dark brown, almost black at 5 to 6 years of age and older. These older males exhibit a striking contrast in color with their bright white bellies, muzzle, and eyebrows.
A big black buck really sets up as a cool animal to me. They have horns that'll, start out to about 14, 15 inches, and as they get to that 16-inch range, they begin to turn black. They begin to get in the breeding age, and they begin to cover a lot of ground. Begin to have their own little herd out here, and they do fight aggressively to maintain control of that herd. The females are tan and they don't have any horns at all, and they're a very wary animal to hunt. And in most cases, you're looking at rifle shots, probably in excess of 200 yards a lot of times in the country where we're hunting them, and they are a very tasty animal as well.
Holy moly. That's nerve-wracking. That is nerve-wracking. I have always wanted a black buck, and this is a true trophy. Saw this black buck several times, and then he'd move from different fields, and I got to hunt him some, and he wouldn't be here, or he'd come out on the edge of the field, and he wouldn't come in. Today he comes in and he lays down out there for 45 minutes. Let's go look at him. All right, guys, here he is. Sun's starting to set. Give you a shot at him here. He's a great black buck. Good curls, nice exotic here in Texas. He's been on this place for a long time, and he's old enough to shoot, and I got the opportunity. We've actually seen this guy since, well, we've seen him for a long time, but during deer season we were trying to get a shot on him and never could. Always had other things, and today was the day. Today was the day. He's gonna look great on the wall. They're great to eat. Black buck is a cool exotic animal. Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much.
Hey, don't forget to visit us at AmericanaOutdoors.com for in-depth stories from the fields. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Americana Outdoors. Americana Outdoors is a Careco TV production.